what can I say? It's been a very interesting week for both Orange fans, for Bills fans, and definitely in the music world and around here. Let me first get to the whole thing with Orange fans, shall we? Looks as though Syracuse is trying to take the initiative, 'cause they know things may be coming down from the NCAA anytime soon. So what does the Orange do? They self-discipline themselves. They decide that this year is going to be the year that they don't do the postseason. That's right. No ACC tournament, no NCAA tournament, or NIT tournament. Of course, the way the Orange have been playing, especially with the loss to Pittsburgh on Saturday, the NIT seemed to be the place that the Orange might have been heading. Well, you know, the Orange wanted to get out in front of this, and you know, maybe it's going to be the way. Maybe the NCAA might look favorably on it. But because they say the NCAA tends to look favorably on schools that self-discipline themselves. But just like some of them say, you gotta wonder, do you think the Orange were trying to maybe say something because this year's team wasn't that good? Of course, we all know both Chris McCullough and Dajuan Coleman are out for the year. Depth with the Orange isn't very good this year. Plus, you see how near the end of games they're getting worn down. Thing is, that shouldn't take away from the rest of the season. Although I do feel bad for Rakeem Christmas. He definitely has stepped up his play this year. And you know, it would have been nice to see him go out with a little postseason play. But I digress. The Orange look like they wanted to get out in front of it. But some people are saying that this is convenient. You know, that maybe the Orange wanted to do it now because maybe this year's team wasn't going anywhere. Well, you know what I say? Good call, Syracuse. I think it was a right move. Next year, you know, we're going to be loaded. Both Coleman and McCullough will be back. Plus also, one of Boeheim's best recruiting classes in a lot of years is coming in. So, it's a good thing that the Orange got a handle on it. But I don't know, I think there might be a couple things coming when the NCAA does decide to speak about it. 'Cause I fear there may be a loss of a scholarship or two. Plus, you never know. The NCAA might want to ban the Orange for more than one postseason. But we'll see. Of course, me and others will lament the loss of not seeing us play in the postseason, but maybe it's for the best. And like it's for the best for the football team. 25 new players coming in for Coach Schaefer, including a good running back who's started the talk of having 44 brought back. Well, 44 was retired, and of course, Conrad put a Herculean effort a few weeks ago when he had to swim back to shore when he fell off of his fishing boat for one reason or another. I don't think Conrad was drunk. I think he just hooked into too big a fish. But I digress. This is one of SU's best football recruiting classes in a while. We got a couple of studs, including a tight end who turned down a lot of Big Ten schools and even Oregon to come here. But we'll see how this class works out. Of course, we needed some quarterback depth because the top recruit was a quarterback. And of course, Alain Edouard, who was expected to be a stud for us, apparently he's had trouble with his academics and he's going the JUCO route. But maybe he'll come back to the Orange in a couple of years. But like I said, I digress. Terrell Hunt and also the others, Austin Wilson and others, look like they're getting ready for a pretty good year. Their first 4 games this coming year are at home. How's that for a good opening slate? Of course, after last year's debacle, the only way is up. And going from the Orange, I'm going to go to the Bills. Well, you know, with Rex Ryan coming on board, you knew there were going to be some things happening. He said he wanted to make the Bills the bullies. But you gotta wonder, what was that with Richie Incognito? Apparently, they definitely wanted to put the bully into the Bills. Remember 2 years ago when that whole thing happened when Incognito was on the Dolphins? A lot of people said he was blackballed. But the truth, a bully is a bully. But I've always kind of been a little fond of Incognito and his ways when he plays. Because they say he is pretty dirty when he's on the field. And I mean, he's like the offensive counterpart to Nadekam Suh, who's probably the dirtiest defensive player there is in the NFL. But you know, teams do need a mean cuss sometimes. Hell, over 30 years ago, anybody remember Conrad Dobler when he came to the Bills? When he played in the 70s, Conrad Dobler was considered one of the dirtiest players in the NFL. Hell, he routinely gouged people in the face. He routinely bit people. He sometimes started scuffles. Well, you know, Incognito's kind of along the same routes as Conrad Dobler. But, you know, a mean cuss can bring out the best in some players. And maybe Incognito can maybe cuss a few people out, if you know what I mean. All I can say is, if the Bakulas and Ryan wanted to make a big splash, they've done it by signing Incognito. Well, we'll see. And I do want to say, congratulations to Sheriff Stenberg, who's decided after this term to call it a career. In the 8 years he's been Seneca County Sheriff, he's done a pretty good job. But he's decided at the age of 70, it's time to relax a little bit. And the thing is, I thank you, Sheriff, because I heard you are a fan of this show. And you know what? Good luck on your retirement. You've done a good job, sir. Keep it up the rest of your term, and I wonder who's going to replace you as sheriff. But again, I say thank you for being a fan. How about the Grammys last night? That was an interesting show. That new kid, Sam Smith there, who has even gotten Tom Petty's respects, getting 4 Grammys, including Record of the Year. But all I want to talk about really is my boys kicking off the show in grand style. Even though they're all in their 60s, AC/DC showed they can still bring down the house. Ryan Johnson, Angus Young, boy did you kick ass there. You took us down the highway to hell with a great performance. And also a couple other legends showing they still have the pipes. Tom Jones, Annie Lennox, Sir Paul McCartney, and others doing that show a good deed. And congratulations to Barry Gibb. It was cool seeing him. He's the only one of his brothers left, and he was on hand to accept the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award for the Bee Gees. You know, good job, Barry Gibb. Good job, Bee Gees. Even though, yeah, the 70s were the age of disco, the Bee Gees did record some pretty good hits. And you know what? That's all the time I have to say this week. But what about this weather? Boy, seems as though Mother Nature has really made up for the warmness that the winter has been so far. Last couple of weeks, we've been dumped on. Boy, you know, gotta wonder if we're gonna set the world record for snow coming up. Look at Boston. They've already exhausted their supply of salt for this year pretty much, and exhausted their school days. You know, maybe it's time to pray for a little break in the action, you know. Of course, winter's still got a long way to go. And next week, the kids are off from school and it's President's Day. Thing is, if snow was to hit, why couldn't it have been that week? Oh, we'll find out. I'll digress. Well, that's all the time I have this week, guys. And good luck, Orange, on Saturday. Because guess what? Duke's coming to the Dome. Let's orange out the dome. And also, rest in peace. Rest in peace, pardon me. Rest in peace to Coach Dean Smith, a true innovator and a great person. And rest in peace to Ed Boudreau Sr.